This is part 4 of our interview with Tom Zawistowski, the executive director of the Portage County Tea Party. And we were just talking about poll watching, and you had just said that you would need to have a sponsor.
Right. We thought that we could just, if Acorn had 2 people and SIU had 2 people, well, then the Tea Party could have people, is what we thought. Well, once again, you call the Board of Elections, they say you got to talk to the Secretary of State. We start talking to the Secretary of State. We start saying, well, you got to do this through the parties. Next thing we know, we have to have one of the 2 parties appoint us. And because we had a relationship with Andy Manning at the Republican Party, we went to him and said, Andy, we think this would be a good idea to have regular citizens watch the election, so when they're done, they will come back and tell their friends and our membership that, hey, I watched and nothing was wrong, and we can dispel this misconception that there's potential fraud in our elections. We don't believe that, but you know what? Perception is reality. Our job is to make sure that we investigate it, and when we're done, I'm confident people will feel a lot better about voting in Portage County.
Well, again, I'm trying to be fair to both sides. You say regular citizens. We're not really talking about regular citizens. We're talking about folks that are associated with the Portage County Tea Party who do have an agenda.
Well, I think that's rather harsh. I think it's rather harsh. I mean, if their agenda is fair elections, I guess they have an agenda.
Well, but you are endorsing specific candidates.
But if you're a poll watcher, you're not even allowed to wear anything that says Tea Party on it. You are not allowed to do anything. I mean, let me tell you, these people are citizens who are sacrificing. This is not an easy thing. This is not an easy thing. It's an all-day long thing where you sit in a chair and watch people come to vote. That's boring as heck. And you're not telling people to vote Republican. You can't wear anything that says a Tea Party. And I'll tell you what, it's a public service. So agenda, I reject that. That's not true.
So if somebody from your group is observing on the 2nd of next month, and they see something that they think might be unfair, but it's in the direction of voting for somebody that the party's endorsed, you can commit today that will still be brought up?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, the rules, there actually has to be a class they have to attend to get trained how to observe the election, and they report any irregularity. A machine that's not working. Someone doesn't get their driver's license checked. Okay? Someone that should vote provisionally that gets a real ballot. It doesn't matter what party. We're not about parties. We're about America. We want fair elections, and don't worry, we'll take care of our business. We'll get the vote out on our side. We'll have people outside the polling stations with Tea Party t-shirts on, handing out our list of candidates because we formed a PAC so we can endorse our candidates. That's a different animal. The people who are being the poll watchers, they're patriots. These people are sacrificing, and my hat's off to them.
My last question for you. One of the candidates that you endorsed for Portage County Commissioner, Tommy Jo Marsilio. A year ago, a little over a year ago, she was dismissed from the Portage County Prosecutor's Office as she was running for a seat, a judgeship. For a flyer that she put out that had the words that there was a Portage County good old boys, quote, good old boys corruption club. Do you believe there's a good old boys corruption club in Portage County?
Yes, I do. I do. I think that there has been a number of people who've been in charge of our legal system for a long time, and I rightly or wrongly so, whenever you have that much time together, I think there becomes a club. People that that just know each other, and things just happen without anything being written or just non-verbally or whatever. And I think that club is very hard to break into. And so I think she was right to say that there's a good old boys club in Portage County.
Who do you believe is in that club and why?
Well, from what I can tell, pretty much all the lawyers and judges are in that club. I think there's some other people, in the club who work, for the county or for the city. We don't really know. Our job as citizens is to find out. Okay, we want to know. We want to understand. If there's a club, let's find out. If there's not a club, let's find out there's not. So everyone can get off the topic. Again, rumors and innuendo don't help anybody. We're about facts. We want the best government we can have. That's what we want as the Tea Party. And if we can have efficient, fiscally responsible government, we will be proud of our county. That's why we're the Portage County Tea Party. From the beginning, we've said, yeah, everybody wants to talk about Congress, everyone wants to talk about the state and all that stuff. But we name ourselves the Portage County Tea Party because we care about Portage County first. If you can't take care of business at home, you have no business putting your nose into state issues and the national issues. We need to be citizens of Portage County and do the best we can to elect the best people we can and hold them accountable, and that's what we're trying to do.
Tommy Jo's flyer said, quote, good old boys corruption club. And I noticed when you repeated it back, you left the word corruption out. Do you believe the folks that you had just talked about are corrupt?
We have heard a lot of things about corruption in this county. I don't have any evidence of that there is corruption, but when I hear something, I'm going to raise the question. And I'm going to have a very personal relationship with Sheriff Doak and with Victor Galucci, the prosecutor. We're going to ask these questions because, again, it's not good for us to have them floating around with no answers. It either is or it isn't. It either is or it isn't. We don't have an agenda. We just want to get past all the BS and get down to good governance.
Thank you for the interview. Mm-hmm. I'm going to let you have the last word to say whatever you like to the voters out there watching this video.
Vote. Vote on November 2nd. It's your duty. It's not just something you can take lightly. People died so you could vote. It is critical. We have the government we have because we allowed it to happen. Nothing that's going on is George Bush's fault or Barack Obama's fault or Harry Reid's fault or Dick Cheney's fault. Everything in this country is our fault, and it's our job to take care of business. Get to the polls. Go to the Portage County Tea Party website and look at the videos that we have candidates. Go to the ePortage website and watch the interviews with the candidates. Become an educated voter. That's your responsibility under the Constitution.
This has been our interview with Tom Zawistowski, the Executive Director of the Portage County Tea Party. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Sal.